This video is going to explore expected value. So let's take this example here, and what we have is a spinner, and this spinner shows €2, €4 and €6, and we're told that we can bet €5, spin the wheel, and you win whatever amount the arrow is pointing to. Is this a good or a bad bet? Well, we can decide this by using and calculating expected value, or the mean. Now, what expected value is the probability of getting a 2, which is a half, multiplied by the probability added to the probability of a €4, which is a quarter, and of getting a €6, which is a quarter. So what does that look like when we go to solve it? If we look at this formula up here in the top corner, our expected value is going to be the sum of the outcome multiplied by the probability of the outcome. So the sum of the outcome in the first instance is €2. The probability of that outcome is 1/2. And we add that to the the sum of the outcome of €4, which is €4, and the outcome probability of that outcome is 1/4. And then we add that to the sum of the outcome of €6 times 1/4 again. And when you do that in the calculator, you'll get an expected value of 3.5. Now, what does that mean? Well, in money terms, okay, this means €3.50. And if we say that your expected return, okay, when you bet this €5 that you have, your expected return is €3.50. Well, if you're only betting €5, that is less than €5. So you're basically making a loss of €1.50. And that's expected value. Now let's have a look at a few more examples. And if you pause the video here, you can read about fair, good and bad bets. Okay, so let's have a look at this example. We have a single card is picked from a deck of cards numbered 1 to 4. The probability distribution table is shown, and that's here. Okay, so the probability of getting a 1, 0, 1, 1, a 2, 0, a 3, or 0.3, a 3, 0.4, and 4 we don't know. And part 1 is find the probability of picking a card that is numbered 4. Well, we know that in probability, all outcomes must add up to 1. So for part 1, we're simply going to say it's going to be 1 minus 0.1 minus 0.3 and minus 0.4. And that leaves us with a total of 0.2. So what that means is that 4 is 0.2. And we can fill that in down here as well, 0.2. Now, what we're going to find out now is the expected value, because we multiply the outcome by the probability. So when you multiply 1 by 0.1, you're going to be left with 0.1. When you multiply 2 by 0.3, it's going to be 0.6. When you multiply 3 by 0.4, you get 1.2. And then 4 by 0.2 is going to be 0.8. So your total expected value is going to be 2.7. Because remember, we add up all of the expected values when you multiply the outcome by the probability. So for part 2, we have basically found that the expected value is 2.7. Now let's have a look at this question. A game is played by rolling a fair-sided die. It costs €2 to play the game, and the winnings for each outcome is shown below. So here I have this table drawn out, and what I have is a die roll, an outcome, a probability, and the amount in euro. Now we're told if you roll a die and it lands on 1, you win €9. If it lands on a 2, 3 or a 4, you basically get your money back. On a 5 or a 6, you've effectively lost or you win nothing. Okay, let's break down this then into the table. So if you roll a 1, your outcome, as in the amount you win, is €9. Okay, the probability of rolling a 1 is 1 in 6. And when you multiply €9 by 1 over 6, you're left with €1.50. Okay, Now if you roll a 2, a 3 or a 4, you're going to be left with €2. And €2, because you get your money back, a 2, 3 or a 4 can appear 3 out of 6 or 1/2. Okay, and the outcome of that is going to be €1. Half of €2 is €1. And a 5 or a 6 is going to leave you with nothing or 0. And the probability of a 5 over 6 is 2 out of 6. And when you multiply that, 0 by 2 over 6, you're left with 0. So the total expected value is going to be 250. So for part 1, our expected value is 250. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that we need to factor in that when you put in your €2, so it's 250, take away your €2, you're going to be left with 50 cents. So you're going to make a profit, or the expected value of this game is 50 cents. Now, what does part 2 mean? Part 2 says explain what this value represents. Well, basically for part 2, it represents on average. Okay, so on average, a player would expect to win 50 cents per game. And basically, this is a good bet.